Do you ever look at a masterpiece and wonder how that artist created that piece of art? How they mastered everything from composition, perspective to their technique? What if I told you you can unlock these secrets by studying the greats? Master Studies is the shortcut to improve your art fast. And within this video, I'm going to share my game-changing tips to help you create your own Master Studies, not only to improve your art, but also your drawing skill. So if you're ready to level up your drawing skill, let's dive in. Are Master Studies effective? You get to break down and study the techniques that these artists used to not only improve your drawing skill, but to feed it into your art style as well. And that's what makes Master Studies so powerful. So let's start off with my first tip to help you create your own Master Studies. Start with simple shapes first. If you're just starting out with creating your own Master Studies, you can feel overwhelmed with the amount of details, the amount of techniques and also colours that you face whilst looking at a masterpiece. But it's best to break these images down into basic shapes and also forms. So think of circles, squares and triangles, or basic forms which are cubes, cylinders and cones. By doing this, you get to tackle your own Master Studies by breaking down the image and making it a lot more simpler to actually study from. This helps you develop proper structure, proportions and lays the foundation correctly before adding the details.
One of the challenges a lot of beginners face is seeing mistakes and proportional errors in their artworks. Your brain gets so used to seeing a drawing or an image one way up, and we can not spot mistakes that easily. But there's a simple trick: flip your image. I do this time and time again with my portraits and also my sketchbook drawings. I just flip my drawing upside down as well as my reference photograph, and it helps me spot all the mistakes really clearly. You can also do this by taking a photo with your phone and flipping the image, or you can hold your drawing up to the mirror so you can spot those mistakes really easily. Your brain processes that image as a completely new image. If you're studying a master artwork and you're getting frustrated by the number of mistakes and how it doesn't look like the artwork that you're studying, just flip your drawing upside down as well as the artwork, and it helps you spot all those mistakes. Focus on light and shadow. Classic mistake that a lot of beginner drawers do when they study master artworks is they focus way too much on the line work and also the outlines to a master study. However, it's way more than that. If you look at any master artwork, it's not about the lines or the outlines to why that artwork is so successful. It's things like the color, the composition, but most importantly here, it's about the light and also the darks. It gives any artwork depth, volume, and makes it look realistic. When you're doing your Master Studies, try and not focus too much on the outlines and lines to that Master Study, but focus on the three core values. Think about the darks, the midtones, and the lights. If you have access to Adobe Photoshop, I recommend the medium filter, which blurs the image and helps you focus on the core shapes and values. Or if you're working traditionally, I tend to squint my eyes like this. I can't see a finger, but it helps me see the values in front of me and it blurs the image. This will help you understand how light affects things like form and volume and make your artwork seem a lot more realistic. It's an essential skill for any artist, so don't overlook it.
Pick an artwork which you absolutely love and resonates with you. Once you've selected your artwork, turn it into a black and white image or blur the image. You can do this on Adobe Photoshop, for example. Just take away all of that saturation from the image. This helps you focus on the big shapes and the structure of the artwork, and makes you focus on the composition of that artwork too. Next, sketch the big shapes and the tones from that artwork. You can see the big shapes and the structure way more clearly by turning it into a black and white image, and forget about the details. Think about the big shapes and construct it into small thumbnail sketches within your sketchbook. I really suggest you produce a few of these thumbnail sketches to really get you into the grasp and understanding of how different artists constructed their compositions by just sketching those big shapes. One of the most valuable aspects of doing master studies is to push you out of your comfort zone and to try new techniques, new methods, and also new mediums. Maybe it's a unique drawing technique or a medium which you've never used, and you can utilize these master studies to practice these elements. For example, you might want to try using acrylic or oil paint, or try using a particular drawing technique that you can utilize within your master studies to practice and to see how different artists use these mediums and the techniques within their artworks. Each of your explorations will broaden your skill and also see what's achievable within art. So not all master studies need to be hours and hours long, but you can mix and match by doing just quick thumbnail sketches of certain master studies and then producing longer studies, so a few hours for one master study. So really mix and match the variations of time for your master study. If you only have a few minutes to give or to allow for a master study, that's okay. Just focus on one element per master study and really mix and match the amount of time you spend on your master studies. So once you have a good understanding and you've learned a few things from different artists, we can go about stealing aspects of different styles and different techniques from these artists to produce your own personal style. And then we're going to use all the things that you've learned within your studies to create a new artistic voice that you can champion. And then it's about developing your own personal style. Every famous artist out there has been influenced and also inspired by the artists that came before them. They also produced their own master studies. And you can do the same to not only improve your skill, see what's out there, but you can also develop your own personal style. So maybe you like the colours from David Hockney, maybe you like the drawing style of Van Gogh or Rubens, maybe you love the colours of Turner. You can amalgamate all of what you've learnt within your master studies, and then you can create a fresh piece of artwork. Using all the things you've learnt, you can then amalgamate it into your own artwork, which is fresh and original to you. I suggest maybe drawing a portrait or a landscape or anything you love painting or drawing, then taking all of these elements that you've learnt into your own fresh piece. So there is a big difference between copying an artist's artwork to studying their artwork. If you're just copying it, you're not really thinking about why they produced the marks that they did, or you're not really going to the minds of these artists. But in contrast, studying is a lot different. By studying these artworks, you're really taking note of the marks that they're making, the colours that they used, to really going into the minds of these artists. You'll be putting notes and annotations next to these studies, which I highly recommend, so you can really submerge yourself in these studies. You'll get way more out of these master studies by actually studying their artworks. So don't just sit there and just copy an artwork just to inspire you, because you won't get that much out of it. Really submerge yourself in these artworks. So instead of just picking artists for the sake of producing master studies, think about artists that you love. So for me, it's artists like Monet to Rembrandt to Van Gogh to David Hockney. And for me, those really inspire me because of their colours and their use of marks on a page. But for you, it might be completely different. You would want to pick artists that you absolutely love. So when you're actually taking part in these master studies, it'll be a lot easier to motivate you, and also you'll get way more out of it. So definitely pick artists that you love. If you wanted to improve your head drawings, you would select maybe Rembrandt to study. If you wanted to improve your colour, you would go to Van Gogh, or you would go to Turner to help you improve that aspect. Or if you wanted to improve your overall drawing expressiveness, you might go to Van Gogh, for example. Just pick one subject or topic per master study, and this will really help you zone in on the areas that these artists worked on, and you'll get out more from these master studies, and it will take you out from copying to actually studying. So whilst you're studying them, keep asking yourself questions throughout, analyze the techniques that they used, and also try and use the same medium that these masters used. So if you're studying a pencil portrait, try and use a pencil. If you're studying a pen, use a pen. If you're studying a gouache painting, I recommend studying with gouache. It's perfectly fine to use different mediums for master studies, but this makes you get the most out of it. So studying their techniques, studying their methods, really get into the minds of why these artists created the artworks that they did, will help you get way more out of them. So say if you learnt about, say, Rembrandt's head studies, a great idea would be to go on to a free stock website like Unsplash, for example, downloading a head photograph and utilizing what you've learnt in your head study into a fresh and original piece that has been inspired by Rembrandt's piece. This will really get you into the heart of what you've learnt, and it will actually take you back from just copying to actually studying that piece. As you're creating a fresh piece, which is not actually just copying, you'll be able to learn way more. So for another example, maybe you can paint a landscape which you've been inspired by, but in the colours of Turner. Maybe you can use the colours of Van Gogh in your own self-portrait. There's so many different ways that you can take what you've learnt into a fresh piece, and then you can actually utilise what you've learnt in a few aspects of that piece and then take it through to your finished artworks in the future. The more you do of these master studies, the more you'll be able to learn what you love. You'll be able to learn the techniques that these artists use and then take it through to your own artwork. And then finally, what are the long-term benefits of producing master studies? Keeps your work fresh and original, and it also helps you develop your techniques and practices your skill. And if you're in a creative or artistic rut, it gets you and pushes you out of your comfort zone. As you're drawing from a multitude of different artists, it will make you stand out, it will help you practice your skills and make you become a fully fledged artist. I really recommend master studies to help you improve your skills, your techniques, and also push your creative boundaries. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the Portrait Guru for even more content in the future, and give me a comment below with how you got on with your own master studies. And I really recommend you checking out this video coming up to help you improve your drawing skill.